Hey chat, we got a crazy one on our hands today. I mean, I'm not streaming right now, but it's gonna be like I'm streaming to y'all. So this video is probably gonna be uncut, raw. And I was about to head out, but I saw this title, bro. And I'm like, let me get on here and speak to y'all real quick. How depraved, how sick, how much of a spawn of evil and literally a son of Satan himself do you gotta be to do some shit like this, bro? To smoke your own mom, your own mother, and think you can get away with it. Just that, bro. Think that you can hold on, look, let's just get right into it, bro. This is one of those videos I don't even want to hold myself up, man. Let's get right into it. I
didn't do anything and would never do anything to my mother like that. Never in a million years would I ever think to do that.
Why as a grown-ass man are you wearing booty shorts, bro? Like, do I have to be that explicit in my language? Why would you, as a grown-ass man, I don't care how anybody feels about it, bro. If you wear these shorts, you're foo-foo. Yup. What can possess you as a... This has nothing to do with the video, but it does, because if you wear these shorts, you're weird, bro. Hate me. Get in my comments. Talk shit. But in all seriousness, what can possess you as a man to wake up in the morning and wear these shorts, willingly put them on and go out there in public, as if you're not dressed like the local bop, bro? What? Right off the bat, he did it. He's guilty. Put him in jail.
You're putting on a pretty good show.
A show?
Yeah, you're putting on a really good show.
A show?
Yeah.
How's this a show?
This is 17-year-old Carlos Hallowell, who's accused of killing his own mother, Denise Hallowell. From an initial look, it seemed as if it were a grim yet straightforward case. However, the detectives had no idea just how manipulative and stubborn Carlos would be, especially after hearing his innocent, helpless voice in the 911 call.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
I need someone fast. I need EMTs. I need people.
Okay. All right, so on the phone with me and take a deep breath and calm down so we can get this information, okay?
I can't.
Do you think she's...
Bro, this is one of those deceptive weirdos, because first of all, I want to know what is it? I don't know what caused him and what possessed him to end and smoke his own mother. But what makes this so much worse in my eyes is that this is one of those deceptive pieces of shit who genuinely believe they can actually get away with this evil. Because let's think about this logically. Why in the hell is he calling the cops and telling them about his dead mother? It's because he thinks he can get away with it. He thinks they can come over there and he can talk his way out of it in the interrogation, and they won't find enough evidence to convict him, and he's all good. That's what makes this weirdo, this loser, that much worse in my eyes. Because as tragic and as disgusting as this is, it's a difference in the person carrying it out. If the person, like for example, I mean, my mind can't comprehend why you would ever smoke your own mother. Shit, I'm not the one that is going to decide, but you're most likely not going to go anywhere nice. But my point is, if he smoked his mom and tried to run away, it would be a different story. He would be less of a lunatic, at least mentally, than doing it and calling the cops and trying to talk your way out of it and thinking that you can genuinely outsmart everybody. Do y'all get what I'm trying to say here? Do y'all see the lunacy behind that? The dark psychology behind a weirdo like this who genuinely thinks they can outsmart the law after they just committed something so unfathomably, like just so heinous. He probably just thinks that they're going to pull up and they're going to be like, damn, there's no way her own son killed her. That's what he's relying on. Right off the bat, bro,
Is he on any help?
I don't know.
When detectives arrived at the crime scene in Inverness, Florida, they discovered the deceased body of 57-year-old Denise Hallowell lying on the bed with an axe embedded in her head. But even after Carlos caused such a gruesome death of his own mother, his main focus was to try outsmarting the detectives.
Yeah, nah, he's going...
So you're calling me a sociopath?
We haven't even gotten to the interrogation yet, and I can't even watch this without talking about this, bro. This demon put an axe in his mother's head. Imagine raising your own child from your cradle, from his years of being an infant, a baby, to being, a kid, to a teen, for 17 years, spending money on this little shit, spending time on this little human, right? Just for them to end up ending your story in such a gruesome way and putting you and themselves on a YouTube video and in jail for the rest of their lives. Imagine being the up, or not even that. Imagine being that mole in the ancestry tree, right? You look down the whole tree, it's like, okay, our grandmother and grandfather, they had this amount of kids. You know, this kid did this, got into the, you know, they made a family. His family is over there now. They're doing this. They're over here. They're successful in this. This line of the ancestry, which is his, got f***ing ended because he killed his own mother and he's in jail for the rest of his life. Imagine being that, bro. Let me be quiet because I can say so much about this, bro. Hold on.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. This is what sociopaths do.
You can size me up all you want. I do have normal feelings. I loved my mom. Ask anybody,
I'd beat 'em up.
anybody in this county.
On July 19th, 2019, Denise Hollowell was found dead on her bed with an axe embedded in her head, and the body was discovered by her adopted son, 17-year-old Carlos Hollowell.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Adopted. Okay.
Denise Hollowell was a special education teacher from Inverness, Florida. Being an adopted child herself, she decided to adopt 2 children, Carlos and Angel. Despite her best efforts, she had to let go of Angel due to his troubled nature. Despite Angel being the problem child, keeping Carlos with her turned out to be a mistake that would soon take a grave turn. As Carlos was the only person present at the crime scene, detectives brought him in for an interrogation. But when detectives started interrogating him, they were stunned by how far a teen would go to manipulate the truth.
Oh, man. What's going on, Carlos?
Hey,
Doing all right hanging in there, man?
just trying to accept the fact.
Let me know, bro. Would you be able to sit face to face with somebody that just did something like this and keep your emotions in check? Like, genuinely, like, dead ass, bro. Like, we know the woman that died isn't related to you. You know, she's not, you know, but still, it's somebody that lost their lives, and you have to sit there and conversate with this little piece of shit while he's over here lying to you, which we're about to get to, bro. This got me riled up right off the start. But imagine having to sit and interrogate this little demon with a straight face and not get up and beat his ass, bro. That's a challenge that a lot of us would probably fail, bro. I'm just putting it out there. They got a lot of self-control to sit there and talk to this little piece of shit, bro. Knowing that he axed his mom a few hours ago.
Once again, my name is Detective Ramos, Lieutenant Ball. So we were brought out here and we're just trying to talk to you, see if you could, you know, help us out and let us know what all took place.
Okay, my mother and I came back from the funeral, and we had lunch together. We had pie together, and the last time I saw her was around 2:33. We both went to our separate rooms to take our naps for the day, which is what we normally do. And then about a couple hours later, I don't remember the time, I hear barking.
Oh shit, hold on, y'all. I just realized this video is an hour long. Let me put this on a little faster speed because I'm not gonna be here for that long, bro. I'm trying to watch as much of it with y'all as I can. Let's go.
We do. And then about a couple hours later, I don't remember the time, I hear barking from my side of the house, which is abnormal. Our dogs are supposed to be in that little fenced-in area. So I walk out to the front door. My mom's door is closed as always, but she does let the dogs out every now and then while she's taking a nap to just let them go to the bathroom. So the front door was wide open. I figured she might have forgotten to close it. And I looked outside. Our dog, the 2 green gates that you guys walked through, completely open. Every now and then my mom sometimes does that. She's getting older and she forgets things very easily now. She was. So went to go find the dogs, checked around the property looking for them. I couldn't find them, so...
Bro, shut your dumb ass up. This is how y'all know this is really like, he's guilty of this shit. Because if you just lost your mom and you love her like a normal person, like your mom is literally as annoying as mothers can be, as how many problems as you can have with them, etc., bro. Your mom is your mom, right? She literally birthed you. Point is, if you just lost your mom a few hours ago and you actually loved her, mentally and emotionally, you would not be able to sit here and talk this calmly, you just would not be able to talk this calmly, bro. You would be freaking out, breaking down. Your mind would literally not be able to formulate sentences simply out of sheer grief. Especially if I'm assuming the route he's about to take is some random stranger walked into her house and slammed her with a axe in the head. How realistic does that sound? But given what you just saw and how gruesome the scene is, would you be able to sit here and talk like this? This eloquent, this calmly, this relaxed, this concise? No, you would not. That's how we know he's already guilty, bro. Well, I mean, we know, but still, shut the up. I
went to go wake my mom up to help me find them, and then I found her there.
What funeral did you go to?
We went to her friends, Kathy.
Listen to his tone. He said, I found her there. Please understand that what he found is a woman with an axe in her skull. I'm being graphic for a reason, bro, or explicit in my words for a reason.
Last name, it was in St. Petersburg. We had, the whole family was there. Close friend families. We were directly related to them.
Was it the funeral in the morning?
Yes, sir.
What time you guys got down to St. Pete?
Around 11, I think.
What time you guys left from St. Pete?
I couldn't tell you. We just took off. After the funeral was over, we had brunch and then we left.
We guys have lunch at?
Also at the church. I forget the name of the church, but we had, all our family was there. We said hi to everybody.
So you got pie?
My mom and I stopped at her favorite place to stop to when she lived in St. Pete to get pie, and we brought him home with us. We both like to eat pie.
What kind of pie was that?
She had, I forget what she had, some fancy. I always eat apple pie, and that's kind of like my mom's my tradition thing.
Carlos, just before we get any further into anything, we don't really know what we've got, okay?
Correct.
So,
Understand.
anytime we talk to somebody, especially if we bring them down here, we read Miranda. You know what that is? Your rights.
Yes, yes.
Probably seen it on TV. Doesn't mean you're in trouble. Doesn't mean anything. It's what we do.
Right.
Especially two of us in here talking to you. Some people can get pretty uptight about it. So we just want to make sure we read it, you understand it, and you know what your rights are. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Detectives started the conversation with Carlos to put him at ease, but little did they know that Carlos had already rehearsed his story well.
As soon as you got home, what happened from the funeral?
We ate pie. We both decided to take our naps. She went into her room, I went into mine, and I watched a couple of things on YouTube and fell asleep and got up again and texted people and fell back to sleep. Usually we stay in there for about 2 or 3 hours to give ourselves time, our own separate time throughout the day.
Did you talk to anybody at all on the phone?
No, I was texting my girlfriend, some friends about work. And that was pretty much it.
Where you work at?
I applied to the Cove and I was texting some buddies who work there and see if I can get some recommendations and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, you were texting your girlfriend throughout the day, or after you were taking a nap, or?
It was after the funeral. I texted her mainly.
Bro, his tone is literally like he's in a job interview. Just concise with his words, able to formulate his thoughts. No grieve, no type of emotional destruction, which is exactly how you would feel after. Hold on, bro. I got so much to say. Look at this little.
Before I went to sleep for the nap, and then after that I was out.
How long was the nap more or less?
Definitely slept for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then from there I just kind of fiddled on my phone playing games.
So you was already awake when the dogs were barking?
No, that did wake me up. I fell back to sleep. I woke up after about a 2 hour nap, played on my phone and fell back to sleep. Because my mom wasn't up yet. Usually when I hear her being up, then I go outside, but I didn't hear her up, so I'll just let her have her space.
So when you guys don't take spaces, do your naps, you guys don't talk to one another?
No, it's very common for us. We just like to have our own time throughout the day. Because we do bicker and argue when we spend too much time together. So we've learned how to cope with it and just give ourselves space and we get along fine.
Did you guys bicker, argue anything today?
No, today was fine. Completely normal day. In fact, it was a really good day. We got pie, that was a special treat. So, that was good.
Although Carlos is claiming it to be a normal day, he in fact had an argument with Denise. Moreover, throughout the interrogation, Carlos is visibly restless and anxious. This could be because he's desperately trying to hide the truth, and in doing so is over-explaining himself.
So, you walk out, you see Noelle, so remain Noelle, so you get out your fence, you walk around to her, and you scoot her in. You get her inside the house, you close the door. Right. Then from there, in the little gated area, did you ever leave that area? Or you stay right there in that little gated area and just call for them?
No, I left. I went down the road because I usually can either find them at the gate or they'll be down to the neighbor's property, but I didn't feel like going all the way down there. So I was just be like, hey, Mom, you want to help me find the dogs? Because they don't go far.
So you went up to the front gate?
Correct.
Called them? Firecracker?
Yeah, and they didn't come back, so I walked back as well.
And what did you do then once you got back to the house?
I just walked inside and was going to get my mom up. Wanted to go help me find the dogs. And
it's no way she was able to adopt and financially take care of 2, kids by herself, right? She has to have a husband. Where is her man at? And how does he feel about this situation? If her man is around, bro, we got to come up with a new rule. Listen to me and let me know if y'all rock with this rule, bro, or this. Yeah, look, once fully convicted, I'm not talking about alleged or allegations or charges. I'm talking about convictions. I'm talking about people that do specifically these heinous acts, right? When a person does something so unfathomably unbelievable and unreal and just utterly heinous, the nature of it is beyond disturbing. Shit like this literally axed his mom in the head. The father or that woman's husband deserves to be in a room with them while they're locked up for 5 minutes. Let that husband take all his grief out and all his emotions out on the killer, the party that was responsible for all this destruction, which is him. If we start doing that, bro, that will help the families of people who lost their loved ones to these unfathomable, heinous situations like this. This new rule would help them cope and grieve and just everything way better than just what we have currently. And I'm talking only specifically for these heinous acts like this. These kind of situations that are utterly heinous and seem to be for no reason, or at least a petty reason. I hope we find out here in a second. Yeah, they need to be treated differently, bro. That rule needs to be implemented if there's a man in that woman's life that she was married to. Give him 5 minutes with him.
So then what? You see her? What happened? What was your reaction? What was it that you were trying to...
Originally, I was shocked, but then I ran to her, shaked her a little bit, and then I could hear her breathing, and then I just started crying, yelling out, Mom, I'm getting help, call 911.
So when you come back in, was her door open or closed at that time?
Still closed.
Still closed? So you open the door, see her. How did you call 911?
With my phone.
With your phone?
Mm-hmm.
So you saw her, shook her, right? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Told her, hey, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was like, I'm getting help. I could still hear her breathing, so I immediately called 911. And the lady instructed me to stay out of the house.
So that's when you went out the house?
Yeah.
Out the front door?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
And then I just waited for you guys to come, and she stayed on the phone with me. I was still also trying to find the dogs because I didn't want everybody being all over the place while this was going on.
So you're on the phone with a 911 operator?
Yes.
Up front in a little gated area?
Yes.
And then what she's telling you?
She was telling me, give address, phone number, stuff like that. And then what was the emergency, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, I'm going to stay on the line with you, trying to keep me calm.
Can you just stay right there? Or did you...
I had to go up
Bro,
to the gate to open it.
This is how y'all know this little piece of shit is beyond guilty, which, I mean, yeah, we know. But, bro, if he really loved that woman, if he really loved his own mother, right? And actually is feeling grief at the loss of her, he would be asking, hey, man, what the is going on? What happened to her? Crying, at least emotional, visibly, right? I don't care who you are. If you're so bro, in a situation like this, God forbid, you would be freaking out. You would lose your mind. He's over here acting like he accidentally stepped on somebody's shoe and got punched in the face for it, bro, or something super small. I can't get over that. Listen to this shit.
To get through.
So the gate was closed then?
Correct. I just walked up, closed, came back.
Up until now, what Carlos said is quite believable, but there's something that really doesn't fit with his story: the barking dogs. Detectives now start to investigate about dogs' whereabouts, and they're soon going to find a huge lead.
So when the dog got out, the gate was closed when the dogs got out?
Yeah, there's openings through that are small enough dogs. They just squeeze right through.
So then you went in, and that's when you came in and said, oh man, the gate's closed. I gotta go and open it. So you went over there and opened it for you?
Yes, because I remember from going up it was closed, and I was trying to get them in as fast as possible.
When did they show up, the dogs?
The dogs?
Yeah.
Halfway between you guys being there, they just came over from the neighbor's property. They got bored hanging out with those other dogs.
Which side? They came from the right side, left side?
If you're facing the road, it's on the right side.
So I'm coming out your house, I have to make a right?
Yeah. It's Amy Alfred's. They have outside dogs that they go bark at. Mm-hmm. Amy Alfred. She's a very close family friend as well. She's grown up there with my mom for years.
That's the house where basically Dodge ends at?
Yes.
What about the people on the left-hand side? They kind of almost intersect into your property.
It was the property of Gene and Jim Livingston.
Damn, bro, your mom just died, and you're able to remember the names of people who own the property around. Oh my God, it's funny because he thinks this shit, like, sometimes the more you try in life, the harder it will be. Like, in a situation like this, he thinks speaking is such a concise mannerism, right? Being quick on his feet with ultra descriptive responses to these cops' questions is gonna make them believe him. It's gonna vindicate him, right? When in reality, if he was to fake cry or fake act emotional, that would have been way better for him than this shit. Because that would at least show grief. That would at least show an emotional distress state that he's in because of the loss of his mother. And it's funny and it's crazy seeing it backfire on him. What he thinks is gonna work is actually exactly what you wouldn't want to do in a situation like this, because it proves that your dumb ass is guilty, that your evil demonic ass is responsible for this.
too old, and now it's their sons, I think. I forget his name. But that used to also be the hangout place, because when they were both alive and there, they were kind of like grandparents, and then when they moved out, just kind of, no one really went on the property.
Which house does Rick stay at then?
Rick is on the one, if you're looking at the road to the left.
Where the older couple was at, where the son is moving into now?
No, the red gate where the deputies were right in front of, that's Rick's. The gate right before ours, I don't know if it's green or black, but that is the Livingston's, and then there's Amy Alfred's.
Carlos is weaving his story in detail, leaving no room for gaps. But this is a grave mistake. Any normal kid who lost his mother just a few hours ago should be too traumatized to serve such a detailed story.
Exactly. Not over here giving us descriptions of how the street looks and what angle he's bro. Hey man, turn left, turn right, you'll see a stoplight, then turn right, you'll see a stop sign, then you'll see the Apple store, walk right next to it, you'll see the park, and that's where you'll find this. Bro, you wouldn't even be able to remember your name in a situation like this, let alone all this other shit. He literally just told us the property owners of his neighbor's house. What? Bro, even on a good day, you wouldn't even be able to remember that. Yeah, man, my neighbors, the property owners of my neighbor's house is Jim this and Jim that. Get him out of here. Beat his ass, bro. Just beat him up for thinking that he's smart, for thinking that he can over here, sit over here and try to outsmart you like this. Look at, imagine. I really want to know what caused this, y'all. And I have to hop off here in 5 minutes. I hope they get to it. If not, I might have to drop a part 2 because this shit is long, bro. It's an hour-long video. Why did he do this? What caused him to do this? Get to it. I want to know.
When you saw her?
I shook her, like yelling, mom, wake up.
She was laying, so when you walk in the room, her back was towards you?
Yes.
And how did you shake her?
Like right on the side. Like
on her ribs or something like that?
Yeah, where her arm was laying down like that, just knowing you awake, and I could see blood running down her nose, but I could hear her still breathing.
That was the only time you touched her?
Correct.
You didn't like run around the room a few thousand times?
No.
I ran in, shook her, I'll be back?
Yeah, as soon as I ran in and heard her still breathing, I thought there could be
You just gave yourself up. You just gave yourself up, dumbass. Even they are surprised by his, oh my God. Yeah, man, what happened when you seen your own mom with an axe lynched in her head, right? Or whatever the word is, bro. What was your reaction when you seen that? I walked up to her, shook her up. Hey, you good? No? All right, let me get the cops. What? I don't even have to elaborate on how bad that makes him look and sound. And he literally, like, they asked him, is that all you did, bro? You didn't walk around the room? You didn't cry? Your soul didn't leave your body? You didn't die too? Shit, that happens, bro. You might have a heart attack off of seeing a scene like that. What happened? What did you do? You didn't beat up the wall? You didn't punch yourself? You didn't pass out? You didn't walk around hyperventilating? No, all I did was walk up to her and shake her up a little bit and then go call the cops. Oh my God. It is so funny to see how this backfires on him, like in real time. And his little head and his small skull, right? With a smaller brain in it. He thinks he can just out-explain his way out of this. The more details he gives, the more believable he sounds. When in reality, you piece of shit, we don't see any emotions at all. That alone is a huge red flag. That alone is exactly what gave you in, what exposed you for being the person behind this. Oh my God, this is a good ass video, bro. Not good at all. It's tragic what happened, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's good that this piece of shit is this dumb. Hold on, bro.
My phone, ran outside, called, and then she instructed me to stay outside. But I didn't do anything and would never do anything to my mother like that. As much as we used to bicker and get back at each other, fighting sometimes, and then peace, and then back and forth, and then peace again, never. Never in a million years would I ever think to do that. She's my mom. I was adopted at age 4, and I've been with her forever.
That's exactly why your own parents threw you away, bro. Shit, who would keep somebody like this? Bro, when they find out about this situation as tragic, like, they're gonna be like, damn, we dodged a bullet. We knew we had a demon seed, we knew our baby was one of those demons. That's why we gave him up. This is exactly why your own mom and dad threw you in the street. Exactly why. Point proven. I hate the fact that this happened, but there's a reason this little piece of shit was thrown on the street, bro. Look, the reason I'm being so explicit with my words is because of what he did. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Would never do such a thing like that.
Yeah, right.
And if you're insinuating that, I'm very offended by that.
Very offended by that.
Show.
A show?
Yeah, you're putting on a really good show.
A show?
Yeah.
How's this a show?
And I remember that CPT talking
Look
about
at this. Look at his little face, bro. Look at the little facial expression he just hit. This shit is so fake. It is so fake. And it's funny seeing people like this is something I pick up on a lot, and y'all probably do. Some people out here are just not people, bro. I don't know how to describe it to y'all. Like this is a little off topic from this video, but you ever like had a conversation with somebody and they're just a dead soul? Like they are literally just a dead person. It's like, it's worse than it's worse than speaking to a robot. Like if you speak to an AI nowadays, it'll literally conversate back to you, right? But you ever like had a conversation with a dead person, like a dead soul that just has like a set number of facial expressions that they can throw at you, nothing else? To say it like, he reminds me of one of those people, because look at this little facial expression he hit. I'm very offended by that. Same shit a robot would say, bro. Look.
You're putting on a pretty
look
good show.
Look at his face. Look.
A show?
Yeah, you're putting on a really good show.
A show?
Yeah.
How's this a show?
And I remember that CPT
Worst
talking
actor
about
of all
how
time.
your attitude of things were very sociopathic.
Sociopathic?
Which is exactly what you're showing me right now.
It's well known that a sociopath is a person with antisocial personality disorder, a mental health condition that involves a lack of empathy and has an innate desire to be in control. But Carlos losing his cool demeanor and being hyper as he is losing control of the narrative he tried to build, hinting at his sociopathic nature. However, it's rare for a detective to call out a suspect so directly, as it would prompt them to lawyer up and shut down the interrogation. So it can be assumed that the detective is intentionally pushing him to reveal his true colors, or has simply slipped up in the heat of the moment.
And you're trying to act like you're upset about something.
I think he slipped up, bro. That ass. You ever like he's sitting over here, looking at this little piece of shit, think that he's smart by the way he's speaking in such a concise and, informative way about a situation where he shouldn't even be able to say shit. He should be bawling his eyes out in tears. It doesn't matter what the f you are, man, woman, kid, grown up. If you lost your mother in this kind of, God forbid, bro, you would literally be bawling your eyes out. You would be in distraught. Yeah. So you're telling me, this detective has to sit there and look at this little piece of shit, really think that he's smart enough to talk his way out of this, and he's supposed to sit here and continue like acting as if they're having a conversation? No, f you're putting on an act, bro. You're lucky I won't beat your ass because there's cameras in here. Hey, these cameras are for your protection. So I think it's the second option. I think he slipped up low-key.
Yeah.
Okay, how is this trying? That was my mom. My mother.
Right.
So trying, how is this trying?
Because you don't feel like normal people feel.
I don't feel like normal people feel.
Yeah, that's what a sociopath has the issues with.
Okay,
So
you're calling me a sociopath?
Yeah, you are.
Really?
Yeah. This is what sociopaths do.
Well, do what?
I've just been sizing you up the whole time.
Okay.
It's like 100%.
Okay, you can size me up.
You don't have normal feelings.
You can size me up all you want. I do have normal feelings. I loved my mom.
I loved my mom. No tears, no oh, this hurts to watch, bro. Hold on. This is, psychology is actually something that's, I think this falls under psychology, right? It does. This is super interesting to me, bro. I might bring you up more of these videos, because to see how these things play out in real time is so informative to me. And honestly, eye-opening for a lot of y'all that aren't exposed to a sociopath, to a lot of y'all that haven't ever conversated with these types of gremlins that walk amongst us. He's just somebody that acted upon his nature. A lot of these people walk amongst us, bro. So it's good to see how they, talk and how they carry themselves. Hold on. I'll elaborate on that more. Look.
Anybody in this county, they can attest to that.
You think that people that love one another don't do the most extreme things to them?
Not like that, no.
It happens all the time, every day.
No.
That's what I just told you earlier, that it's usually like a loved one.
Okay, I would not do that. You ask anybody in this county. My mom and I were amazing. We would never do such a thing like that to each other at all. My mom would never hurt me like that, and I would never hurt her. You call me a sociopath or whatever you want. And I'm sorry for getting upset. But you please ask around. Ask anybody.
They will ask everybody.
Ask everybody. They will attest that I would never do that.
And I don't know what kind of son you were to her.
I loved her very much.
But we're going to peel this orange way back and look in nitty-gritty details.
Please. You can, and you'll find that I would never do this. I don't know who
the evidence is going to show us something.
Okay, that's fine. But I would not do this to my own mother.
Well, I'm throwing this out there because this is the time. Like, if you did something, this is the time to tell us. Because right now, you're telling us a story that you had nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Okay? And if later on you come back and the evidence shows us something totally different, and you say, oh, Mom was a terrible mom, and she abused me, and we had a fight, and I did something stupid, you've already laying out this story right now.
Correct.
Which I can scrap. I can scrap that story if you have another story that's the truth. Okay?
This is the truth.
Because now is the time to tell us the truth.
This is the truth.
You remember when I was telling you, especially with the kids, if you don't come forward, you get in trouble, but not as much. But we find out. Remember, that's the same thing. Same thing here. Same thing.
I'm telling you, this is my story, and it is the truth.
The detective can clearly foresee that Carlos is soon going to change his statement about his mother, but Carlos continues the argument. But what is utterly shocking to see that even in such an intense situation, he managed to take a nap in the interrogation room. As for the detectives, they now know who the real murderer is. All they need to do is indict him. 9 weeks after the first interrogation, in September 2019, detectives meet Carlos again, and this time they have all the evidence that proves Carlos' involvement in the crime.
Well, first we both got out of our dress.
They're just not like us. These are demons walking amongst us. How the you go to sleep? Like, I'm an anxious, paranoid person in a good way, right? I have those in my traits. And honestly, I think it's a superpower, right? When I say I'm paranoid, when I say I'm anxious, it's a superpower because paranoia allows you to protect yourself. Paranoia allows you to prepare, right? Paranoia allows you to show up your best, to do your best, right? My point is the fact that these people that do shit that is so inducing of anxiety, paranoia, all this shit, that would literally, bro, all types of emotions, this type of action throws all those emotions at you. And you're telling me he did something that causes that and is just able to go to sleep real quick and nothing happens? He's not feeling too scared, too paranoid, anxious, too fearful to go to sleep? No, he's just calm and is just able to take a nap. No, not everybody that's walking amongst us that we interact with has a human soul, bro. That is something yeah, for sure. It's no way.
Dress suits and get comfortable to our rooms. We let the dogs have to go pee one more time, for the first time. And then we sit down and eat pie, let them in. We keep eating our pie, and then we watched whatever was on TV and had a conversation. And that was pretty much it. And then we went to our rooms.
What was the conversation about?
It was about Kathy and the service.
Okay.
Just our own personal thoughts about it. It wasn't anything serious. I think it was mostly just about her when she was speaking about verse. I don't remember the exact words, but it was just she was getting some things off her chest.
So everything's okay there. So, and then you said y'all went to go take your naps.
Correct.
From there, did you eat anything else other than pie?
Nope.
Did you eat anything else other than pie?
Not that I know. I just went to my room.
So you went to your room, and did you see her go to her room?
Yes, I watched her go into hers, and then as I'm in mine, I can hear her either come back out, I think once, and then go back to her room. But then after that, I was out.
Okay. And you said you were on your cell phone? You say that as well, or did someone else? When you went to your room, you said you watched TV on your cell phone, or watched TV on TV?
I had the TV on because I have sports on my TV, and I'll watch something else on my phone, so I always got sports in the background, so I keep updated.
Right, back and forth?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you said, about how long do you think before you start taking that?
I don't know, it was like maybe 30 minutes and I fell asleep.
30 minutes and fell asleep? And how long were you out for?
About an hour and a half, because I found her and reported it around, I think like 4. And then from there, I was just kind of like scrambling everywhere, and I lost track of time.
What happened around 4?
Is when I called in, I think. I don't remember specific times of what
Okay,
happened.
that's okay. I understand that. So you think you called 911 around 4?
Hey, listen, y'all. I'm gonna pause this right here. It is still like this. We're not even halfway through this video, but I'm gonna pause this right here. And if y'all want a part 2, let me know. So I won't watch this on my own. I'll keep this right here. And if y'all want a part 2, just let me know in the comments. But before I hop off, right? Because I gotta go. Look. Here is why he did this. Let me read y'all this. Hollowell said that his lifelong trauma forced him to smoke the only family member he had. The killer claims his mom was abusive from an early age. In 2015, Denise was in fact arrested for allegedly, abusing her second child named Angel that she adopted from Honduras. The educator was fuming as her mugshot spread online. On her Facebook page, Denise expressed her anger by posting, "Beware of small-town law enforcement and media, they lie." According to him, his mother would hit the other person, Angel, make him clean the bathroom, lock him in his room. The obtuse related charges were later dropped. Prosecutors claimed there wasn't enough evidence to prove that she was guilty. Angel was removed from the home. Carlos got supervised visits and stayed close. At an early age, Hollowell started abusing drugs like Xanax and morphine and hung out with people his mother worried about. Denise installed cameras to monitor her now only son, the same cameras that Hollowell got rid of after the smoking, after ending her. On top of arguing about his friends and his substance abuse, Hollowell said his mother wanted him to have a stable career and live the life she wanted him to live. Just thinking about everything that was going on in my life, I've tried 3 times to end myself. I guess this time I snapped and decided something else, he said. So this unloved baby, right? This person who his own parents threw away is adopted by her and is raised by her. She wants him to stop hanging around people that do drugs, right? And take his life seriously. He decides that's obtuse and decides to end her. That's basically what I'm understanding what his motive is. You know, I'm not even going to say anything else. Let me know what y'all think about this, and I can say so much, but I gotta go, bro. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.